Hi guys, I am Gtafan, and in today's video I wanna talk a little bit about the guns which are good for the season 4. I'll try to talk a little bit more or less about which gun is good, which one is bad, and I'll try to show a little bit of clips, and I'll try to go a little bit in depth about each gun and explain why I think the gun is good, why I think the gun is bad, and so on. I hope you enjoyed the video, and yeah, let's go to the video. Alright, so let's start with the CI-19, and I think this gun is still pretty valid in today's meta. I would say that the fact that you can 4-shot people, it's still pretty huge. Besides of the handling, which is terrible on this gun, I think it still deserves the S tier. It's still pretty powerful, low recoil. I don't really know what you want more from the AR. I mean, it's a perfect one. Okay, as next we have the AS Val, and this weapon is kind of situational, I would say. What I mean by that is, on some maps such as Shafted, this weapon is gonna shred people. Like, it's pretty much like Vector, but, you know, for the assault. But what I would say is, because of the low velocity, this gun is still alright, but I wouldn't say it's, you know, something that you must have. So I would say, let's put it in the B tier, because this one is pretty safe, and I think this gun overall could be higher for some people, could be lower, but I think this is a pretty much sweet spot. Like, the B tier in my eyes is pretty much where I'm gonna put most of the guns that I think if you pick them you are neither in advantage or disadvantage. K437, I think this one, I'm gonna put it in A tier, because this gun has no recoiler whatsoever, even with 60 bullet mag. You are insanely accurate. On top of that, this is the starter weapon, so any class can use it, and I think once you make a new account, you get around 5 premium tokens. So you can level it up to like level 25. I think for the starter gun, it's better than like most of the guns. So I think even if you max out every single gun, you should still consider using this one. VITYAZ, this is the gun that I have like the love-hate type of relationship. Because this gun is insanely good. But I cannot simply use that. This gun can pretty much 4-shot people, which is insane in this game. I think if the gun can 4-shot, it's automatically better than B tier in most cases. This gun can also kill in 2 shots in head, which is also somewhat insane. The overall handling, it's alright. Stability is alright, the recoil control is also alright, so what I would say is, I'm still gonna put it in A tier, because this gun got recently buffed, and even if you hit the limbs, then that means that you're still gonna kill people in 4 shots, unlike before. So I think it's still pretty big, and the damage model is pretty, I would say, friendly towards you, then I'm gonna say this gun is pretty good. The G3, well, this gun, I have a little bit of problem, because I've tried playing this one. It's not the bad gun, but I don't know, it feels like this gun gets outperformed by every single AR, to be honest, and even other battle rifles are just better. So what can I say about this gun? Handling is okay, recoil is also pretty easy to control. The RPM is the big problem, because by default it's I think around 500. You can make it even lower if you need for extra control, but I don't think it's pretty valid. It's surely got the good velocity, so this is surely something we can use for the long range fights, but I don't think velocity is enough to actually make the gun good. So I'm just gonna put it in C tier, because I think they are just better choices from the class. Alright, as next we have the Scourge, and I think this gun is probably the best battle rifle in the game. We've got higher velocity than most of the ARs. The handling is pretty terrible, but we can still fix it by adding the skeletal sniper stock, for example. This gun doesn't really require you to stack up so much control. Even with the 50 bullet mag, it's still gonna be very accurate, and I think just because of the velocity and how this gun behaves while shooting, I'm just gonna say it's easy A tier. As next, we've got AK-12, and I'm gonna say that before the buffs, this gun would be here. Like, comparing to M4, it just served no purpose, but now, after I played this gun a little bit more, and it received all of the buffs, I'm easily gonna put it here. This gun is so fucking insane. Like, you just shoot this gun, it feels like the butter when you shoot with it. It's so nice. The thing with this gun is the headshot doesn't make your bullets required to kill lower, but I've noticed that it's very easy to hit 2 headshots in a row, and then you need only 1 extra body shot. So I think, I don't know if it's only with this gun, but I really feel like this gun is just something else. If you want a gun that's very easy to use, has good handling, is easy to build because you cannot really fuck up the build, then just go with the AK-12. The next gun I would like to talk about is the SG552. I would say this gun is supposed to be something like AS Val or Vector. Where am I gonna put this weapon? I would say this weapon isn't bad at all. I would say this weapon is pretty good in medium range. This is where it shines, I think. In close range, you pretty much need to hit headshots if you wanna be able to outperform guns. Sometimes it is annoying when you land 5 shots and, you know, then it's like minus 90 something. So just because of that, and because the gun heavily relies on your skill and how consistently you can hit headshots, I'm gonna put it in B tier. But I would say this gun could be in A tier as well. I'm not gonna say it's a bad gun, it's surely one worth using. The M7, I don't really have much to say about this gun. I'm just gonna say that this is the worst version of Scar Age. So it will just go to B tier. The AUG. I think AUG is kind of the gun that I think actually deserves nerf. Completely zero recoil, perfect stability. It can two-shot you if you hit 2 headshots, which is fucking insane. Considering all of this, I'm just gonna put it in S tier because, I don't know, this gun is so broken, it's available on 2 classes, and I don't know. I would just say, use this gun till it's not nerfed, you're not gonna regret it. M16, this is one of the guns that I have to put in D tier. Why so? It's a burst mode gun, so I think the actual RPM is still gonna be lower than what it says on the paper. You cannot double tap someone into head, which is also a bit of shame, but okay, you can live with it. You can technically 4-shot people in all body pieces, but I still think that this gun serves no purpose in the game currently. The kind of buff I would see for this gun is make it 5-shot but give it full auto mode, or make it that it can double tap into head. K437, I don't really know where I should put this gun, because on one hand I wanna consider this gun as an AR, but then I think it fits more of the SMG category. It has alright handling, the recoil is pretty manageable, the stability is, let's just say alright, could be better. The only problem I had before with this gun is it was only available on the medic, so back then I would put it in the B tier, but now, after this Season 4 patch, the Assault has received an update, and you can also put it on Assault, and I think Assault, especially Viron, is gonna benefit a lot with some CQB weapon, because we don't really have any guns that you can use in close range. Like, if you think of it, what guns do we have? We only have AS Val with very slow velocity. We have the SG, which is probably outperformed by most of the guns. But K416, it's consistent 5-shot kill in any body piece. It has higher headshot damage than SMGs. You can use it on Viron, like I mentioned before. You can also use it on Viron, which means you can close up the range even more. So because of this recent change, I will say this gun belongs to A tier easily. Like, the RPM it has makes it one of the best TTK guns, and I don't really see the reason why you shouldn't try it. I'm gonna highly recommend it to try, especially now if you're a better player. The S12 is kind of interesting weapon, because normally I would put it in C or D tier, but now the nerf of M250, which makes it unable to 3-shot people in arms, I would say this gun has got some value, and I'm gonna say it's a B tier now. It has terrible control, the stability is also very mid, but the handling is alright, TTK is alright. It's apparently, I think, second or third fastest time to kill in the game currently, so it kind of surprised me, but landing those 3 shots, it's gonna be very challenging, so I would recommend this gun only to very experienced players who know how to control the recoil, who can sacrifice a little bit of control and stability at the cost of consistent 3-shot kills. The AKS, this is another starter gun, and I don't really know, I have very mixed feelings about it. You can actually make this gun for the ADS speed, and it's gonna be very insane. It's gonna have 0 recoil, it's gonna ADS in like sub 200 milliseconds, which is insane. So you can kind of make it like a hipfire gun, but for ADS. But for the new player, which I think most players are gonna use it at this stage of the game, I think this gun is just trash, and I don't really see the purpose of using this gun. Okay, it can 2-shot in head, but I don't really see any advantage of this gun. So what I'm gonna say is, if you're a new player, I'm gonna put it in D tier, just avoid it. But because this gun has some option to make it to work, I'm gonna put it in C, but I think it's still gonna get outperformed by almost every single AR in the game. The QBZ95, okay, this gun I think could be even an S tier, but I have only one problem with it. It's not consistent at all. The problem with QBZ is, if you go to the weapon in the game, you will see it has 22 damage, and you're gonna say, okay, this gun needs 5 shots, so what's the problem? Okay, the problem is that in upper part, it can actually kill in 4 shots, but look at the damage model. You must hit the upper part of the body 4 times in a row, and I think it's almost impossible in normal scenario. Okay, sometimes it's gonna happen, especially on the flanks, but even if you flank someone, people are not facing you, like, you know, frontally or just, you know, back, like with their back. What I am gonna say about this gun is pretty much very RNG based. If you get lucky and you are able to hit those 4 shots and the game registers as 4 shots into upper chest piece, okay, this weapon could be S tier easy, because it's very stable. The short reload time for something that has 60 bullets is also kind of insane. Now I am kind of confused because I don't know where I should put this gun. If I consider the RNG aspect, this gun should go to B tier because this is how the gun was before. But if I consider the flanking capability, And that sometimes, but I am highlighting, sometimes you can get a 4-shot kill. It could go to A tier, and I think I will still put it in A tier. Like, I can't really complain on this gun. This gun does everything pretty well, even if you consider the RNG of this gun. And it's great for flanking, and now, after the recent patch, you can also use it on Luna and Hacklow, which means the Recon can get a gun with 60 bullets for flanks with the spawn beacon, which is fucking insane. And I'm gonna say, this is probably the game changer as well, and that's why I decided to put this gun in A tier. The AKM. Before the patch, this gun had one very big issue, which was firing stability. The bullets were not going where you were actually aiming. I had the situation so many times that I was hitting at someone's chest and it was easily a headshot or like even double headshot. Now after this patch, it's been changed and this gun is kind of behaving as it should. What I can say about this gun, it's always consistent 4-shot kill. It doesn't 2-tap in head, which is kind of a shame for this damage. It is very easy to control even with 40 and 75 bullet mag. The only drawback I see is this gun is going to have a very low handling, so I would say if you are an experienced player, it's easy A tier to me. And I'm gonna put it there because this gun has very high potential for getting kills. And I've got so many kills with this gun. I enjoyed the gun even before the changes. So I can't really put it any lower. But if you are a less experienced player, I think B tier is surely better for this gun. DM4, the gun that has been nerfed already. And I think it's still S tier. Consistent 5-shot kill, pretty much non-existent recoil. What I can say about this gun is the nerfs didn't affect it at all. I will show you one trick that pretty much makes the nerf non-existent. So if you go to modify, you can see there is the thing that's called the M16A4 stable stock. What this stock does is pretty much allow us to put a cheek pad, which you can see here. Which also means if you go to calibrations, you can calibrate both stock and the cheek pad. And as you can see, both of them are gonna give us firing stability and extra control. The only disadvantage I can see about this gun is a little bit lower range. But I still think this gun is pretty valid and you should definitely use that. The next gun that I'm gonna talk about is my love probably. Like this gun is so good that I would say this is probably the best gun in the game to me right now. It has the best firing stability in the game, I think. It's very stable, it doesn't kick at all. It's pretty much where you aim, the bullets are gonna go there. The only problem with this gun is handling, but you can easily fix it by applying the sniper skeleton stock. For those who actually ADS a lot, like we should, I'm just gonna say this gun is so good. It's 4-shot kill pretty much any time. It's so stable when you shoot. The recoil is non-existent and you pretty much cannot make this gun to not work. You're always gonna find some build. I would compare it to SMG45, which I'm gonna mention later, but I'm gonna say currently in the game this is the best SMG and it's probably top 3 guns in the game at the moment. The MP7, this gun I think easy S tier. This gun is so underrated. I never seen people really using that, but consistent 5-shot kill. 950 RPM, 0 recoil, you can stack up the control up to 90 something. With the extended mag you get around 40 something handling, which is insane for the SMG. The hipfire accuracy is very good. This gun is easy S tier because of how effective it is at the range. It's very effective, you're not gonna have issue to get kills on targets that are 50 meters and above. The VITYAZ, this gun it's interesting as well. I'm kind of saying that about every gun, but yeah, every gun is interesting, I think. So what I'm gonna say about this gun is, it's not the top gun. The recoil is kind of harsh, but you can make it to work. What I really like about this gun is the very high headshot damage. So sometimes, when someone got hit once by some other gun, you're gonna make 2 headshot kills. On top of that, I could add the consistent 4-shot kill in any part of the body. So I'm just gonna say this gun is B tier, because it's not shining with anything. It's just a good SMG that you can use. The SR3. A few months ago, I would say it's easy S tier, but if you ask me why, this gun got nerfed not to the ground, but I'm gonna say it got hit pretty hard. It doesn't get any extra velocity from the attachments. Before the nerfs, the weapon could 4-shot into any part of the body, including legs and arms. Currently, this weapon can 4-shot only in head. You could also make this gun to work with the hipfire build, which was very strong advantage, but currently, because of how bad the damage model is, I don't really see the point of using this gun as the main choice. You can still make this gun to work because it has no recoil. It's still very nice to use. But I think velocity and a very brutal damage model doesn't make this gun valid anymore in my opinion. I would just choose any other SMG. The SMG45, there is not much to say about this gun. Easy S tier. I don't really know what to say. The perfect gun. It shoots a little bit slow. But other than that, you have 0 recoil. You have the best velocity from all of the SMGs, so it's kind of like AR for medic. This gun is pretty much untouchable, I think, in terms of nerfs. And you can get it for level 5, so I think this is probably the best starter gun you can get. And even myself, I still use this gun a lot because I really enjoy shooting with it. the Bizon. I would say this is kind of the brother of the SMG because it's shooting a little bit faster, but it also sacrifices velocity and stability. The gun is great for flanking, but if I think of also comparing to the SMG-45, this gun can 4-shot in any body piece, which is not the case for SMG. I'm gonna put it in A tier because this gun I think is more difficult to use, but it has huge potential for flanks because of its 64 bullet mag. If you are a very experienced player, especially the ones that use laser aiming, I'm gonna say just use this gun if you cannot shaft it. It's gonna give you so many kills on flanks, and I don't really see the reason that you don't use it. Uzi is another gun that I don't like. I think it's D tier because it's one of these guns that doesn't serve any purpose. What I mean by that is, you need 5 shots to get a kill in body. You can make it to 4 if you hit 2 heads. It has alright stability. It still kicks a little bit. The recoil is fine. It doesn't have velocity. It's also a starter gun. So I'm gonna say this gun, you can make it to work the same as AKS, but I don't really see how you can make it to work. You can't really make a hipfire build. You cannot make the zero recoil build. So I don't know. This gun is just, I would say, a bit too weak. What I would fix in this gun is I would probably give it higher headshot damage. If you hit a single head, then you can actually 4-shot people. And I think that would be enough. Vector. Vector is probably the gun that you don't wanna face. On maps like Shafted, Knife's Edge, this gun is gonna demolish everyone who you meet. Okay, this gun has pretty harsh recoil, but doesn't really matter in the range of like 10-15 meters where you should be using this gun. The only problem I see with this gun is at the distance of 35 meters plus, you're gonna really struggle to get kills. So I'm gonna say, if you're gonna play some close quarter map, just use Vector. I don't really see why you should use any other gun. It's a good alternative for the MP7 or QC Cube in close quarter maps. If you want something that's consistent with kills, because you need 5 shots in body. If you want something that shoots very fast, so it guarantees you the kill by spamming people with bullets, Vector is the way to go. P90. P90 is the weapon that I think goes to B tier. This weapon is something that wants to be a Vector, but it is not. It shoots pretty fast, 900 bullets per minute. It has consistent 5-shot kill, but other than that, I don't really know. The velocity isn't any better. The recoil is pretty good. The stability is also pretty good. If I have to choose Vector over this, I'm just gonna choose Vector every time. I don't really see the reason why I should use this gun over Vector, for example. Or why I should use this gun over QCQ or even MP7. MP7 just does everything better than P90. So what I would say is, if you want some challenge, play P90. But MP7 is just gonna win in 99% of scenarios. Another gun we have is MP5, and MP5 is the gun that I can put in A tier. The only problem I have with this gun is the range. If you put the SMG Echo Suppressor, this gun becomes hella difficult to use. So, sadly, you have to sacrifice 3 meters of the range to put something like Sandstone Vertical or Bastion Horizontal to be able to actually control this gun well. And because of the range, it will happen quite often to you that you will need an extra shot to kill someone, which doesn't make this gun valid. But I think this gun has so many build possibilities that you can make it for hip fire, you can make it for ADS time, and it's always gonna work. And I think the biggest advantage is the 50 bullet mag reloads very quickly, so it's also very good for flanking. That's why it's going to A tier. If it had better range, let's say 20 meters, then I would say it's easy S tier, but because of the range and how inconsistent it's gonna be with the range, I'm gonna put it in A tier. Now I'm gonna talk about something that I fucking hate, which are shotguns. Shotguns are, in my opinion, very broken in warfare mode. I don't really know who was balancing the shotguns, but I think they should actually change the shotguns, especially the M870. I think this is probably the most broken shotgun, so I'm gonna put it in S tier. The shotgun that can one-shot you up to like 18 meters, it's hilarious. Especially if you have the booster loader that you get for the armory. This gun has no penalty to the reload, so it can be constantly in the action. If you play the map like which I think this gun is the best, or even Shafted or Knife's Edge, this gun would give you so many kills, and you're gonna... I'm just gonna say this gun is somewhat toxic and very good to use, but I just don't enjoy playing that because it's just way too easy to get kills. The S12 is a different type of shotgun because it's a full auto shotgun and it's also good for flanking. So what I would say is for a map like Shafted, or especially if you play Vyron, it's gonna be very valid choice, but I don't think it's as good as the M870, so I'm gonna put it in A tier. The M1014, I think this is kind of the hybrid between S12 and M870. It also has the access to booster loader, which gives it a huge boost to the reload time. I think it's gonna go to A tier because it's not as good as the M870, but because it gives you the option to be something in between, I'm just gonna say it can go there. The QJB201, one of the newest guns. I'm gonna say I really enjoy the recoil. This gun has no recoil. But I'm also gonna say it's nothing special. Like, it's pretty much the M249. It's like, I would consider those two guns as the same because M249 shoots a little bit faster, the QJB has damage higher by 1. The damage model is pretty much identical, so I'm just gonna say both of these guns can go to B tier. You can make the QJB as an assault rifle. You can make the QJB an assault rifle if you really want, but is this the point of the LMG that has 100 meg plus? I don't really think so, so I'm gonna say just use this gun as it's meant to be used, as the LMG. The next is M250, and I'm gonna say this gun could be S tier before, but after the recent nerf, which made it unable to free shot once you hit the arm, I'm just gonna say it's A tier. This gun is still very good, it still can free shot, it's very good for flanking. Just because it's not as consistent as it was, I'm just gonna put it lower, but I think some people might disagree and they will still put it in S tier, and I think it's still pretty fine, but to me personally, I think this gun is still the way to go if I want to go with the LMG, but I can also consider the other guns on the support currently, such as Courage. The PKM is kind of a hybrid between M250 and the M249, because it kills in 4 shots. It's pretty stable, it is slower firing LMG, but it's not as slow as the M250, so I'm gonna say it's also B tier. I don't think it's for me, but if you wanna put it in A, go for it. I think it's also a valid choice if you wanna use it over M250 after the nerf. Now we have the category of DMRs and sniper rifles, and I think those guns are mostly useless in terms of how they perform against other guns. Most of the guns will get outperformed by the ARs and SMGs. The range isn't usually high enough to take the advantage of the DMR. I decided to rate these guns in the separate category as how good they perform on their own, not comparing to other guns, because if I did it in other ways so, I would put pretty much everything in C or D tier, but I'll try to be as objective as I can and actually recommend you some guns. Let's start with the PSG. I think PSG is pretty alright marksman rifle. I don't think it's anything spectacular. You can get a free body shot kill, which I think is pretty fine. It has a pretty high velocity, higher than the SR25, which is its main competitor. So I'm just gonna put it in B tier. The SR9, it's just the worst version of PSG. I don't know, it serves no purpose in my opinion. So I'm not really gonna give it too much time. Just don't use it, avoid. The SR25, I think that's the only gun that I'm gonna put in A tier. It's got pretty good velocity, very low recoil, also consistent free shot kill. It's just a correct gun. I don't really know what else I can say about the marksman rifle. It's just the boring class, I think. Sorry, snipers. The SKS requires 4 shot to get a kill. It can also double tap in head. It's pretty fast firing rate, but actually if I had to choose between this and Mini 14, which is its main competitor, I'm just gonna go with Mini anyways. So it goes to C tier to me. The M14 is actually the assault rifle, so I should consider it in this category. It's got the buff to the recoil, it handles better, but I think it's still not really valid choice over other guns. Like surely, it can 4-shot in body, it can double tap in head, but what I can say about this gun is there are just many better choices, and this is probably one of the last choices I would look at. To me, this gun is gonna go to B tier because I can't really flame this gun. This gun is pretty good if you make it to work, but it's surely not top 5 choices for the support class. This gun can free shot. It's kind of like the SR25 and PSG1. It shoots slower, stability is pretty fine, but man, I don't really know if this is better than other guns. I'm just gonna put it in C tier, because I don't really know what I can say about this gun. Because I don't really know what I can mention from this gun as the advantage. I don't really know. Like, this gun just feels pretty much the same as the SR25 or PSG. It's just the same. Okay, the VITYAZ, in my opinion, is the worst gun in the game. Why so? This gun cannot free shot in body. It deals 99 damage. Even though it has huge range of 130 meters, you cannot use it, because the velocity is like 350 meters per second, which makes it useless. On top of that, if you hit a headshot, it deals only 62 damage, which also means you cannot kill in one headshot and one body shot, which again makes this gun completely useless. The only advantage of this gun is it has the full auto mod, but what's the purpose of the gun that's gonna lose every single gunfight against any gun that shoots? It just makes no sense to use this gun. This is easily the worst gun in the game. The Mini 14 is pretty much the counterpart for the SKS, and I personally think it's better because it can shoot faster. It's also for body shot kill. However, it cannot double tap in head like SKS. In most cases, you're not gonna hit 2 headshots in a row with the MR anyways, so this gun also requires you to shoot 4 times to get a kill. This gun cannot double tap in head like SKS. I don't really think it's a disadvantage because, let's be real, you're not really gonna hit 2 headshots in a row with the SKS anyways. So I think this argument is kinda invalid. From my experience, the Mini 14 performs better than the SKS. Just because it has higher velocity, it can shoot faster, but you can disagree and you can say that the SKS is better. Now the sniper rifles. AWM, I'm gonna say A tier. You can make it for both sniping at the long range because it's got the highest velocity in the entire game, but you can also make it as the CQB sniper because that's the only sniper that can one-shot people up to 40 meters. I think it's a pretty valid choice for the sniper, and I would definitely give it a try if you're gonna snipe a little bit or just play Call of Duty type of game. The M700 is kind of one of these guns which I don't know what's the purpose, so I'm just gonna put it in C tier. And I'm gonna do the same with the SV98 as well. These guns are pretty much the same to me. You can't really use them for close range fights, neither you can snipe with them, because AWM does it better. So I'm just gonna say these guns I would rather avoid. The R93 on the other hand, I'm also gonna put it in A tier as a weapon, because it's very good for aggressive plays. You cannot one-shot someone in close range, but you shoot very rapidly. You shoot around 70 rounds per minute, which is pretty good for the sniper rifle. If you remember from Battlefield 3 or 4, the M40 M5, that was pretty much the CQB sniper. And you can say the same about this one. This sniper is meant to be played aggressively within 50 meters of range up to like 100. The map I can think the sniper is gonna shine is Ascension, because you're gonna fight at the distance of around 100 meters. You can literally spam the enemies with the bullets. I also think on the cracked, when you get to any rooftop, when you push the B side, it's still gonna be a very powerful weapon. Lastly, we have 2 new guns, and I'm gonna start with shotgun. I think this shotgun is completely useless. It's trying to be something like M870, but the reload time after you shoot twice, it's so long and it makes this gun, in my opinion, invalid to use. The assault rifle on the other hand, I'm gonna put it in A tier because I really see the potential of this gun. It can 4-shot people in body with the RPM of 760. The recoil is pretty fine. The stability is also pretty fine. I'm just gonna say the only problem this gun has is the lower velocity than the other ARs, so I would rather consider this gun as the SMG as well. But having the SMG on assault class is still pretty fine. Okay, and that was it for the video. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any suggestions on what I can improve in the future videos, because I am planning on making plenty of videos for Delta Force, or if you disagree with any of the opinions I gave on some specific gun, let me know it down in the comments, and I hope to see you in the next video.